Hi friends, Marnie Hockenberg here. Well, today I'm going to be making a video that I have been thinking about making, but really wasn't sure if I would be able to do it, get through it without getting really emotional. But there is something inside of me that is compelling me to make this, and it's really something that's very personal. How many of you out there remember a nightmare that you had years and years ago? Probably quite a few. When I was probably in my early 20s, I was traveling around Israel, and I was doing a summer abroad program at the Hebrew University in Jerusalem. And I was staying in a little hotel. I think it was Tel Aviv, could have been Haifa, I don't really remember. And I was sleeping, and I had the most horrible nightmare of my entire life. I dreamt that, and it was so vivid, I still remember it to this day. I dreamt that a truck full of Arabs sped up to the entrance of the hotel, and there was a whole bunch of Arabs in the truck, in the back of the truck, and they had knives and guns and weapons and all. They were yelling and screaming, and they were coming to get me. They pulled up to the hotel, and they were running up the stairs to get me. And I remember just waking up. I probably screamed. I still remember it to this day. And it was so disturbing to me that I still feel that same feeling when I think about it. It's something that's been carried with me since that time, because I understood, not from a personal experience, just from an emotional experience, what it's like to be the impending victim of a jihadi attack. Although at that time, they were called Arabs, not Palestinians, because that was in the early 70s, and I didn't really know what a jihadi was at the time, but I really do now. So that is something that has been with me for a long, long time. And I always wondered, why did I have that dream? Well, obviously I had it because I was in Israel, and there's so many Jews that have been murdered and massacred at the hands of the Arabs for a very, very long time. And obviously I know my history, and it still is happening today. But I thought that when I left Israel, and by the way, I did immigrate there when I was 22, I made Aliyah. I decided that I wanted to live there because I am a Zionist, and an unapologetic Zionist and a proud Jew, and I felt compelled to live in my homeland. I'm getting a little verklempt here. Talk amongst yourselves. But I always wondered, why would I have that dream? And why would it still haunt me here in America after I came back after a few years? Well, I believe that I understand it now, because we are now experiencing that right here in America. We are starting to experience what the Jews in Europe have been experiencing for the last, I would say, couple of decades, ever since the Muslim population infiltrated immigration, the European nations brought them in, and now the Jews are being murdered in their own homes. So I feel, I haven't experienced it, but I could feel the terror of what it would be like to have a jihadi come at you to murder you. And now that I'm living here in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, we have, over 100,000 Somalis, jihadis, here amongst us. I literally was just over at Macy's, and what did I see? Just a whole bunch of hijabs all over. That's what we live with every single day here. It's a reminder that we are in a war, and we are in a war right now that is an information war. It is an infiltration and subversion war. They've infiltrated. They don't really even need to fire a shot, because people are bending over to Sharia like crazy, and have captured Minnesota. They don't really have to go kinetic, because the dumb dimmies and the Marxists here are allowing this infiltration. And it's really scary when you really know what's going on here and you drive around, and you see the mosques and you know what they're teaching inside, that they're teaching to kill Jews and Christians, and they're doing it all over the world. It's very, very frightening. I think about this all the time, which is one of the reasons that I feel compelled to make my videos. Because I am trying to warn people that it's real. It is happening. And we're in Minnesota. We're the tip of the spear. I don't know if anybody out there is feeling this. I think you are, because I read your comments and I know a lot of people are really upset and concerned, trying to do something to thwart this, to stop this. I talk to a lot of people who understand what's going on. And you know what I hear from them a lot? I hear, "Oh, I'm glad I'm old. Boy, I sure am glad I'm up there in years." Why? So you think you won't be around when this thing goes kinetic? Oh, you're just hanging out and then you're let your children suffer the consequences? Oh, just kick the can down the road so your kids and your grandkids suffer? Sorry, I am very emotional because this is just like consuming me. When I started researching this about 10 years ago, I read a book called Londonistan by Melanie Phillips. And I read the book and I was thinking, oh my God, look what's happened to London, to Europe. Could that happen here? Of course it can, because I started seeing the Somalis coming into our community starting in the 90s, and I didn't really think much of it at that time. But I could see that it was going to get worse here. And I could see the black cloud of jihad looming in the distance, like you see a big storm brewing in the distance, and you think it's coming to you, but you hope maybe it'll divert. Maybe that tornado will hit someplace else and it won't come here. But through the years, that jihadi cloud has come closer and closer, and now it's enveloped Minnesota. It's over us. It's taken hold. And we are literally under Sharia here. If you know what to look for, and a lot of people do, you understand that we're captured. That the Islamic counter-state and the Marxist counter-state have worked hand in hand to literally destroy this state. They've saturated all of our national security organizations. The Muslim Brotherhood is absolutely infiltrated everywhere. It's even worse now under Trump than it was under Obama, if you can imagine that. Before, when I was just learning about this, I would say that I would live my life on two channels. One was my everyday, and one was the jihadi channel, the Sharia channel, the Muslim channel, the Islamic channel, whatever I called it, the storm brewing. And it would go back and forth during the day. And now, it's like 24/7 with me. It's 24/7. So, what I really want to do, and I didn't really mean to make this video to get all, emotional and everything, but guys, it's really hard. It's really hard. And if people don't wake up and speak up and do something, literally, we are going to be in a world of hurt. And that nightmare that I had, that nightmare could become a reality for us. So I'm asking you, what are you prepared to do? What are you going to do to sacrifice and stand up so that your children will have a future that doesn't include socialism and Marxism and eventually communism, and then ultimately Sharia, because Islam shares power with nobody. Just look at 1400 years of Islamic conquest. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be making more videos as long as I don't get shut down or until I get shut down by YouTube. God bless you. God bless America. God bless President Trump. And God save us. Bye-bye.